Stef Woods is a relationship and sex blogger. She's a breast cancer survivor, advocate, professor, and attorney. Stef, what kind of breast cancer did you have?
I had stage 1 triple positive breast cancer, and I was diagnosed in June 2010 at the age of 37. And for most women that age, their breast health isn't necessarily foremost in their mind, but for me, it actually was. My mom passed away of cancer of unknown primary origin, which means I couldn't tell where it was coming from, but by the time she was diagnosed, it was very short, 2 months before she passed away, and I was 24 years old. So I was always on top of my health. And 1 year later, I actually had found my first lump, and it was removed, and it was deemed to be benign, non-cancerous, fibrocystic. So in the subsequent 12 years, I'd had 13 more biopsies. So I felt at a certain point I was playing the odds and playing the numbers, and the overwhelming majority, something in the 80% range of all biopsies come back benign. However, with so many masses growing in my body, when I was finally diagnosed, that neither the doctors nor I were surprised.
So you chose to do a lumpectomy, and now you're scheduled to have a mastectomy at the end of the month. What happened?
Initially, because I had larger breasts and the area was relatively contained, and I had had lumpectomies in the past, my doctor had recommended a lumpectomy. Since I was triple positive, which means I was hormone receptor positive as well as HER2 positive, it was also deemed that I would need chemo. So I was required to have 6 rounds of chemo. In addition, I had really horrible side effects since I had some other health conditions going in. So I needed 20 extra days of IVs in the chemo room, and then I did the requisite 6 weeks of radiation. And the next course of therapy for hormone positive breast cancer would be taking a drug to block and control estrogen, such as tamoxifen, for 5 years. And I was a little wary of taking a drug like that since I typically get migraines. I've been a sufferer since I was a teenager, and I tend to run on the warm side, and that only increases the hot flashes. But my doctor said, okay, start slow and take a half pill a day. And I felt horribly during that time. I couldn't sleep. I had almost a constant migraine. I was throwing up a lot. But on day 5, I sat there and I was watching TV, and I looked outside and I said, I wonder what it would be like to jump off the balcony. And I caught myself thinking, that's not me. What's happening? And it was like I could see myself and was listening to myself in a way that I said, wait a minute, something is really wrong here. And I proceeded to phone a friend, and after 10 minutes of talking with her, I called the doctor. And thankfully, I had insisted during treatment that my doctor give me his cell phone number, so I had it in case of an emergency. And I immediately was instructed to go off the drug, but my oncologist informed me, well, this is rare. It happens, though, in about 5% of women. And that's very scary to me, that 5% of women who are taking tamoxifen, which is the most commonly prescribed drug for hormone-positive breast cancers. And these women experience suicidal ideation, and it's not even included on the drug information guidelines, and most doctors don't talk about it. And I found some studies online that had indicated it could be up to 7 or 8% of women. So those are very high numbers, and I hope people are talking about it. And it's helped a lot of women. The statistics are there. However, if the statistics are also there that women experience suicidal ideation, then they should know that, okay, what's normal for my emotions post-cancer or during cancer treatment, and what's something that's out of the normal range. And to also let people in their lives know so that there can be some checks and balances, that if the doctor needs to be called, if someone needs to be cared for or taken off the drug immediately, that can happen.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.